It was about a dozen years ago, as just a shit post. I took Chomsky's merge, which more or less looks like this. So you have two elements, alpha and beta, and they are merged together to yield gamma. And I'm writing it here as A, B, and G. And this is alleged by Chomskyans to be the mechanism under which you can model all of syntax in natural language. They fuck it up. They don't do it right. But just as a just fucking around with things. Yeah, this is actually it's sufficient for an OISC, a one instruction set computer. It can be used to generate all logical operations that are currently used in computers. Further, when you do this, it also natively gives you abductive reasoning capabilities. Built in. Built in. And it is capable of building data structures which are more representative of how cognition and reasoning actually functions than set theory. Hilariously, some of the extra crap that had to be added into the minimalist program by Noam Chomsky to make it work, if he had just recognized the ways that I'm using his own operation merge as he defined it, he wouldn't need those, right? So the big ones in the minimalist program are merge and move. You don't fucking need move because it's really just another version of merge. And this has actually been noted by, I'm by no means the first person to say that, but yeah. So, look at this. So, if we're given A and B, we get out G, right? If we are given A and G, we get out B. If we're given B and G, we get out A. Okay, no surprises there. What if we are just given A? Well, we get out G and B, but B is simply not A. And then G is the category that encompasses both, right? So this is like logical OR, if I'm thinking about this. I haven't looked at this. Yeah, I'm not sure what this is. Anyway, yeah. I wasn't planning on giving a full tutorial on it right now. But yeah, so you get negation, you're getting anding, you're getting oring, you're getting nodding. That's sufficient. That's sufficient. But notice this is abductive. Right? So, I think it was Peirce who, in the 1800s, kind of came up with a model of abductive reasoning. And it was more or less ignored for about a century. And then in like the 90s or so, people started trying to add it into set theoretic models. And it was a pain in the fucking ass. Got it to work, but it's very much of a hack. It's right here, it's just natively in there. It's just natively in there, right? So, like in this case, and if you're given B, then similar thing. You just swap the places, right? Just like here, right? So there's really Well, there's like one more, I think. Given G, we get out A and B. Okay. So, and here, where, let's just say A. You might say this one is inductive. I'm not really sure. And this one is deductive, right? If we're going to look at it in that way. What about this one? Because really, when you look at the way logic has been broken down, there's inductive, deductive, and abductive. Abductive is normally ignored. Inductive is normally kind of sidelined because it's deductive reasoning, which is seen as producing guaranteed results. Well, if your premises are right, and it's deductive reasoning, which gives you mathematical proofs and shit like that, right? The problem is, I guess the word is sound. The problem is it's not necessarily sound. Right? Because you can have a system of axioms where all of them are lies, and then anything that you derive from them deductively will be valid within that logic, but none of it is true. It's all just bullshit, right? So this is, mathematical proofs shouldn't marvel and wow everybody. It shouldn't do that, because what work has been done to demonstrate that the axioms are true? Very, very little, honestly. Right? There was a shit ton of work around the early 1900s trying to demonstrate that 1 + 1 is 2. But the problem with that is it isn't. That's the ultimate problem. It's not true. But everybody was just assuming that it was, and they worked really fucking hard to try to make it true, and then they're like, oh yeah, okay, we proved it. And everybody just carried on assuming that it's true, and it's not true. It's not. It's not true. Most of the time, when you take one of something and you put them together, you don't get two of anything. Most of the time, it's not true. You have to be very selective in order to guarantee that 1 + 1 will be 2. And even when you're not very careful, accidentally, sometimes it still will be. You can get 1 + 1 being 2 for the wrong reasons. So trusting this is dumb. And that's the way that the axioms of mathematics have been formulated and examined. We're just like, oh, well, we tell little kids that this is true, so it must be true. Well, maybe you're telling little kids lies, right? So that's why I like deductive reasoning. I wouldn't ever say that when you have a deductive truth that it's actually solidly true. It's weakly true, because you're still depending on that axiom being correct. And if you haven't put the work in to demonstrate that that axiom is correct, well, what the fuck are you doing? Right? It's weakly true at best. So I don't really see much of a difference between deductive and inductive, because deductive is supposed to be solid and inductive is supposed to be probable. They're both just actually probable at best. But then what's this guy? So if we have A and we're deriving a category above it, well, so what else is in that category that's above A? It's going to be shit that's not B, or it's going to be shit that's not A, right? So like this might be, A might be dogs, and G might be pets. So B might be cats and rabbits and parakeets, and right? It's an elsewise case. It's all the other shit. What is that? That's not deductive. Is it deductive? It's not deductive. Is it inductive? No. Is it abductive? No. I mean, it could be any of these from a certain point of view, right? But, so what is it? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I just thought that was interesting that just as a shit post, I was able to get a more complete look at logic, or what logic should be, than what, like, a fucking century and a half of professional logicians have accomplished. This isn't that hard, guys. What are you fucking doing? How are you getting paid for this shit? What? Seriously, what the fuck? Also, yeah, so you can get, so, yeah, this produces binary branching trees. But, because it's just a generic data structure, you can bring nodes together kind of at random, kind of at will, right? So you can actually get a subset to be a superset of itself, and there's no contradiction there. That's actually okay. And this is really important. This is really fucking important, because when when logicians were looking at that and they're like, oh, that's a paradox, nah, they were able to understand it. So their brain, their reasoning capabilities were able to look at that and understand what it meant. Which means that their reasoning capabilities are at least capable of handling that. If you're stuck with the model of logic that they tried to, that they ended with, it's not capable of handling that. This is really, really fucking important. Okay? This is not just like, oh, that's a paradox, so it's wrong and throw it away. It's, wait, you're able to recognize that it's a paradox. You're able to understand what the problem is here and process through it. That means that your reasoning capabilities can actually do this. So if you're going to say that reasoning is based on this idealized bivalent logic, how? How could you possibly have recognized these paradoxes? Basic fucking question. Good luck answering it.